All right. Well, thank you all for usual for being here. We're going to do things a little bit different today, which I'm excited about. Hopefully everybody else is excited about. We've got Thomas here with us. He's going to be talking about his direct agent lead generation and how he's been successful finding deals through agent outreach over the last several years. Um, So excited to have him here. He's been kind of in our network for the last year or so out in the Shenandoah. I'll give him a few minutes to introduce himself, but we do also have Chris here with us, who's new to the training. We did a deal last week or the last couple weeks. So for you newbies to the weekly training that I hold. Um, Typically the way we run it is I'll do a quick introduction. You guys all know me, so I'm not going to do that today. And then we'll go around since we've got a couple new people here today. We'll go around and do some quick, give us your 30-second intro pitch. And then we'll share some wins. We'll answer some quick questions, and then I'm going to turn it over to Thomas, kind of get him talking a little bit about his business and like I said, the direct to agent kind of model. But before we get started with that, why don't we start with Alex? Alexander. You're at the top, so give us your elevator pitch. Who are you? What do you do? Anything you're looking for? Anything you're looking help for? We'll start with you, Alexander.
I am part of the Robuild group, so any kind of knowledge about Airbnb. I've helped people out before. I pretty much just kind of uh, put myself out there, and if you have one, I can help out your listing. But I decided that doing co-hosting with Airbnb was a little bit a harder hill to climb. I'm pivoting to wholesale, and I'm literally getting my real estate license like either this week or next. Just a matter of me taking the exam, and I'll be starting with agent outreach, just like we're talking about today.
Sweet.
I'm going to post my calendar in chat.
Cool. Alex.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex. Been joining this group since late winter, early spring of this year. Do a little bit of commercial investing, some residential. Recently got my first wholesale deal, and just pushing forward. No new wins as of this week, but it's not stopping me. I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. So that's where I'm at.
Cool, man. Good to see you, bud.
Yeah.
Chris, what's up, man? Say hello to the group.
All right, guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here. Thanks for the invite. Um, as you may know, my name's Chris. Just getting into wholesaling the past couple months now. Uh, Having a lot of fun with it. I have accomplished and completed several deals now. Also super excited. Me and Mike were able to make a deal there in Linden on a little cabin, and look forward to putting some money into that on a renovation and turning it to an Airbnb. Hopefully, I won't have any problems getting it approved for the short-term rental. Um, I think I'm feeling pretty good about it. If I get any problems, might have to push back. If anybody has any input on that, please let me know. But I'm definitely willing to go the extra mile, and hopefully, I don't have too many problems getting approved for the short-term rental. Um, I don't know if it makes a difference. I want to keep it focused and have a two-person limit there on the cabin, and I don't know if that will make a difference because I do know from what I understand is they have some issues with the Airbnb being party spots and people being pretty loud and partying and causing a ruckus. And I don't know if it will play in my favor that I want to have a two-person limit on the cabin. Um, but yeah, I love wholesaling. If anybody, any investors out there want to buy, flip, anything like that, and you're looking for, I mainly focus around Fredericksburg area, Stafford, Spotsylvania. But however, I do love those mountain cabins, and I have my eye on several of those mountain cabins there. A lot of them are kind of vacant and empty and kind of forgotten about. I see really good potential there. So yeah, I'm super excited. Definitely a part mountain boy. I love getting up there in the mountains, a very peaceful place, and super excited to be in cahoots with you guys.
Awesome, man. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Chris and I connected on the Khyber Pass sub 2 deal that I wholesaled to him recently, the most recent one that we were talking about. So Chris has been having a lot of success with door knocking and just kind of being out there, putting his face in front of people. And so I'll probably have him talk a little bit more about that, maybe in a training later in the month or early next month, because he's been doing a really great job with that and getting some deals under contract, some big assignments. So Chris, thanks for being here, man, and glad to have you in the room for sure.
Thank you,
So,
sir.
hey, Chris, you have a cabin in the woods. That's great. So you want as many beds as possible as can fit. The idea that it's going to attract lots of partiers is a bit of a myth. You you avoid that by A, vetting them. Talk to your people before they book. B, keep your prices high. If you lowball the prices, then you will attract the Motel 6 type of people. People will give red flags in the beginning, like being really picky or asking really, obscure questions that just really makes them feel picky. That's also a rule in the restaurant industry. The pickier your customer, the more likely they're just going to walk out on you and wreck the place. Yeah, put as many, try to get a fourth bed in there, but also be clear with your pictures. What that entails, right? So here is the main really nice bedroom, and here's the bunk for 2 kids, or so on and so forth, right? So what's 80% is get professional pictures. 80% of the problem is people without a good design, without professional pictures. And I love to walk through your listing and show you, what the potential is in your market and zip code.
Excellent. Thank you, Alexander.
So take a look at my calendar. We can talk for like half an hour.
Yes,
You guys connect outside of the training. I want to try and keep things moving today so we can get to Thomas and get his brain. So Jay, what's up, man? Say hi. We're going to do some 30-second elevator pitches here before we get started.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I'm Jay. I'm based out of Maryland. We do retail, off market. I personally am looking to buy as well. So buy anywhere in Maryland. We do retail in Maryland. I'm just getting into the business about a year and a half now.
Cool, man. Good to see you, buddy.
You too.
Miss Melinda.
Hey, Mike. Hey, everybody. My name is Melinda. I actually helped orchestrate that deal with Chris and Mike. I met Chris on Facebook, actually, and I helped them out do that. And that was great. I love meeting new people all the time. And I actually do help call with the agent outreach strategy that we're learning today. That's why I'm here, everybody. And I also help with the dispo stuff with the buy and hold, fix and flips, creative stuff that we have going on.
Yeah. Melinda's on my team, FYI.
Yeah, nice to meet everybody.
Thank you, Melinda. Snapper, you want to say hello? I know you're driving.
Attorney, agent, investor, based in Loudoun County, always looking for stuff in Loudoun and the surrounding area. Love being here. Look forward to connecting with all of you in the near future.
Thanks, buddy. Ryan or Mona, you guys are on cam, so you guys want to say hi? Cool. If not, we'll turn it over to our guest for the week.
Yeah, just wanted to say hi. This is Mona. I'm a wholesaler, and I look forward to the guest.
Awesome. Good to hear you, Mona. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm just going to say the same. I'm wholesaler primarily right now, real estate agent as well. So got options for you guys. As I come across deals, I'll be pushing it out to you guys.
Sweet. All right. Thank you guys. Again, I think it's important we all know each other and share info, share deals. So thank you guys for introducing yourselves. Oh, I'm gonna skip Again, for those of you that are newer, usually we take a few minutes to talk about our wins, what we've had going on, any questions. I'm going to skip that for today. We'll do it at the end if we have a couple minutes, but I want to give Thomas a few minutes to talk about agent outreach. So Thomas, without further ado, you want to introduce yourself, tell everybody what you're up to, and then we can kind of just jump right into to the agent outreach stuff.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Your microphone's a little choppy.
Hold on a second.
Maybe your headphones or something.
Yeah, it might be my AirPods.
I had experience with that a while ago. It fixed itself by just going to the next meeting. So you might want to quit out of Zoom completely and restart.
Is that any better?
No.
Nope.
No.
Why don't you just jump out and
Yeah,
jump
quit.
back in and see if that helps. Well, we can go back and
Yeah, kill Zoom.
anybody have anything they want to share while Thomas is figuring his stuff out? Wins, questions, roadblocks.
Mike, this is the same Thomas that did the grid meetup a few months ago, right?
It is, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. I know you were there. I don't think anybody else was there.
It's just hard to see his face in the video, so I was making sure. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is the same guy, but
It is.
All right. Is the audio any better?
There we go. Yes.
Good. All right. I'm sorry, my camera is being a pain.
No, you're
today,
all good,
so-
man. It looks
All right.
it looks fine. You sound fine.
All right, cool. All right, so yeah, I'm Thomas. I've been wholesaling for about 3.5 years now total. Learned about it during COVID. Liked what was going on and what I was hearing and seeing. So I started to go to YouTube University, learned what I could from there. And then I just started getting out there and talking to people and meeting people that were doing the same thing. And then I fell into my first deal. And once I received that first check, it was kind of a no-brainer for me that I was just going to keep this going. So I'm constantly looking for new strategies to help keep winning. And agent outreach was one that we started using it as when we didn't have a lot of money to do for marketing. It was cheap. It's just, phone calls, and you win some, you lose some, but if you're doing enough of them, you start to get more wins. So agent outreach is something that I currently still use. Recently received a deal from agent outreach that they actually reached out to me instead. It was a networking thing I did, a year or two ago, and he needed some help. So he reached out to me and I was able to take over the deal and get it sold for him.
Tell us a little bit about so you're in Front Royal, correct? But you did a little bit of you were trying to do some wholesaling there and then moved markets to Richmond, and you've been doing a lot of stuff in Richmond since then.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I started in my backyard, kind of like you mentioned earlier. I wanted to do things around Front Royal. I've lived in Front Royal for about a decade now, so I already had a lot of relationships built. So I just started telling people what I was trying to do. Did a lot in the first year in Front Royal, but I wanted to kind of start scaling that and moving it into other markets. So I moved into Richmond virtually, built connections there through the grid meetups, other Facebook groups, and again, just started talking to people. But this way, I was doing it through internet and phone calls and text messages, email. Never really stepping foot in Richmond to do any deals. So one good way to start finding deals in Richmond for us was the agent outreach, talking to agents. So we started compiling lists. And before we knew it, we had agents calling us for, pocket listings and stuff like that, which really launched that ahead for us.
And how are you identifying the agents? Where are you getting these agent leads. What's been the most effective, and what have you tried as far as the agent outreach tactic? Like, where are you getting their information? What's been the best mode of communication, that kind of stuff?
So one of the best ways we've been able to accomplish it is by just simply reaching out. So every day, I do still get up and I get on my computer, I get on Redfin, Zillow, and I will scour those sites for listings that have been on the market for 30 days plus. Normally in those situations, there's a reason why that house isn't selling. So my first conversation that I have with the real estate agent is what is it that's not happening or is happening that you think is causing this house to sit so long on the market? Once we identify that problem, whether it's the price or it's, you know, the condition of the property, which typically I'm looking at distressed properties, whether physically or financially. Then once we identify that, we figure out how we can work with them to solve a problem for them. And real estate agents, if you can solve a problem for them and make their life easier without affecting their commission, typically they're more apt to work with you and back to you, knowing that you can move deals very quickly and it doesn't affect their pay and they're getting what they want out of it.
And so everything is coming primarily from active listings that have been on the market for 30 plus days. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so that's the main focus for us is contacting those properties, staying on top of it. Another method that we've tried that isn't as effective, but sometimes you will land deals, it's just more of a volume thing, is we will actually go on and find the top agents from brokers in the zip codes that we're buying in. And we'll actually do mass emails out to these agents on listings, doing blind offers essentially, or just explain to them that we're cash buyers in the area and we're interested in any off-market deals that they might come across. Doing the blind offers, again, you know, we're just looking at their listing, and we're coming in, you know, 30 to 40% under that list. And sometimes they'll be, you know, they'll have sellers. Once you make an offer, they're required to show it to them. So sometimes you'll have those sellers that are just kind of fed up with the process and want to get out of it, and they'll choose my offer from a blind offer.
Got it. And are you getting multiple, are you finding that you're getting multiple deals from the same agents, or what is your strategy? If you do a deal with an agent, are you then following up with them more regularly, or are you just moving on to the next listing? Like, what is your kind of agent follow-up sequence look like?
So we do put them on a drip. So once we've done a deal with an agent or we've had a great conversation with them and if we think that there could be deals in the future with them, we'll follow up with them and we start a cadence with that follow up with them, so that we're reaching out to them once a week or every couple of weeks just to say, hey, we're still buying in the area. If you have anything, please let us know. And typically, we're seeing now that we've built up that list a little more and we're doing more follow-ups with that, they start to send deals to us more frequently, just because in those cases, like the one that just came to me recently, it was just a situation where the seller wanted more money than he thought that the agent thought he could get him. However, knew that there was a good deal there. There were just a lot of problems, big problems with the property, and we were able to find a buyer who was willing to come in, pay the asking price, and fix all the problems and take the deal off his hands.
Mm-hmm. And then how are you compensating agents on these deals? Are you paying a commission? Are you paying referral fees or something? What does that look like?
So typically we're building into the deal. So if they come to us and say they've already, you know, talked to a seller, they're willing to sell, but they just can't put it on the MLS, because it won't qualify for conventional financing or, you know, just won't sell retail. Typically what we'll do is we'll build their commission into the end price so that they'll make their commission. If we can get them a 3% commission, we do, but typically they're walking away with 2.5, sometimes a little lower depending on the deal. But we're upfront and honest with that. We explain to them, what's going to happen throughout the process. And typically, if they're reaching out to us, they know that we're going to do things a little more non-traditional, anyways. So they're okay with that. They also know that once I take over essentially the disposition side of it to bring a buyer, I'm going to do most of the work from there on. So they're willing to kind of drop that fee. Every once in a while you get ones that are just kind of like, no, we're not budging from what I make, which is fine. And we work it out. I have, cut into my profits a little bit just to make sure that an agent who I know will bring me more deals, gets paid what they want.
Yeah, I mean, I've also done that with agents. Sometimes you just gotta grease them up a little bit.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. What are you finding? I guess like I don't want to say mistakes, but what challenges do you have? What's your biggest challenge with this lead gen strategy? Like obviously, working with agents has a higher legal threshold from a compliance for them standpoint, but like what do you run into most with agents maybe prior to, maybe just on your outreach, and then like when you have a deal under contract, what are some things that you run into that maybe somebody that hasn't done a deal with an agent would be important to know?
So one of the biggest things we ran into when we first started talking to agents was fear. So fear for an agent, meaning that they're afraid that they're going to be doing something illegal or something in that gray area that might, come for their license. So what we did to kind of mitigate that for them was allow them to use their contracts, allow them to, communicate with their brokerage. I've even had conversations with brokers and sometimes in some cases lawyers to assure them that we're not here to do anything illegal. We also don't want to break the law. There's just not really those same constraints on us. And in some cases, they just require us to do a double close to achieve the end goal, which means, it just costs us a little more money. But if the money's in the deal, I'm more than happy to do that. So I'd say the biggest one is just fear. Agents sometimes think that because I'm a wholesaler that I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to go Wild West and not really care about the law or how it might affect them, which is legitimate. However, we just reassure them that, we're not here to break the law either. And we want to do it, however they need to feel comfortable.
I think that's an important one. I just put a property under contract too, that I'm trying to move. And yeah, most of the time when you're dealing with agents, obviously they want to use their paperwork, take things through their brokerage. And so as the wholesaler, I think I've done a bunch of deals with agents, but it's not like my main lead gen strategy, although I'm working with Melinda to try and get her to build, working on our database of agents. But I forget where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about doing illegal stuff.
Yeah. I was taking that somewhere. Well, does anybody have any thoughts or questions around what Thomas has been talking about, Alexander or Melinda? Those of you guys that are actually doing some agent outreach or want to do some agent outreach, do you guys have any or anybody have any questions for Thomas? I mean, I have some other thoughts and questions, but I want to open it up before we get any further. If there's any questions from you guys.
I don't
I got
really.
a two-part question for Thomas. The first is what is your level of effort and day-to-day doing using this strategy as opposed to just cold calling or a different strategy for wholesaling? And how many deals have you been able to do? I think you said you've been doing it for a few years now. So how many deals have come out of these agent relationships? And then what does your day-to-day look like as far as your outreach to the agents and so on and so forth?
So in the beginning, it was a lot more, and I had a partner at the time who him and I were splitting everything. In the beginning, it was a lot more focus on that heavily throughout the day with the agents and building up a list of agents in the areas that we wanted to be in. And at this point now, it's not so much bringing in new agents. I still try to. I'm always looking for new agents, and I'm always looking at Redfin and Zillow to see what's on the market and what's been there the longest and how I can help that agent out. But now I'm not doing so much initial calling. Now it's more on the follow-up side of things. And we've, put some systems and stuff in place to where there's automatic text messages going out or automatic emails. So that way we're touching them every single week so that they know that we're still there in that area. And, obviously if we've done business with them in the past, they know that we can perform. So they're more apt to choose us or send us a deal first and give us first look. So yeah, and to answer that correctly, in the beginning, it's a lot more work, right? Because you're trying to build that list up. And then the idea after that is to just kind of nurture that list and talk to them on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis. And then they start talking to each other too. So it's a big community of agents. In Richmond, it's a lot easier for us because there's a lot more agents. This isn't a strategy that is, I wouldn't recommend it to someone who wants to start in a small market. So, a small town like Front Royal, if you've known and been here your entire life and you know all the agents, you may be able to get some traction there. But being the new guy and then coming in and starting to talk to all these agents who probably talk on a daily basis is going to be a little harder for you. That's why we decided to start it in Richmond. Population is much larger. There's a lot of new agents. So for us, it was a lot easier. And then what was your second part of the question there?
I was just curious, your level of success, like how many deals have come out of this over the last few years?
So to date, I think I've done around 5 or 6 that have been agent deals. And that's whether it's been blind offers where we, just kind of undercut the deal and go 30-40% under what their list value is. Mainly for us, the deals that come from agents are the ones that we've built rapport with, done deals with in the past. And they know, again, that we will protect them and we're not going to try to do anything to get them in trouble. And, with that, I have one agent in mind in Richmond who I've done 3 deals with him. He was our first agent that we ever did a deal with. And since then, he sent me another deal from a different agent, which he made some money, just kind of a finder's fee on that as well. And then another one that I did with him as well. So we've done 3 with just him. And then again, from him talking to other agents and saying, hey, difficult property, we could probably find somebody to help you, or I know a guy, and then sending it over to me and we were able to help her as well. And then my most recent deal actually came from a friendship who is a real estate agent. He had a property in Woodbridge, Dumfries area. And he brought the deal to me, just said, hey, I know you have a network with the grid and stuff like that. Do you think you could blast this out to the grid network and get it sold? And I was able to secure a buyer and get the buyer to pay my fee on top of paying asking price for the property for the seller.
Jay, what's up?
Yeah, so sorry, maybe I missed it, but I was curious. So when you're looking at houses that are sitting on the market, and these are the ones when you're reaching out to agents, what's the typical days on market, like, are you looking at? Like, are they, 90 plus, below that? What does that kind of look like?
So you're going to have a better chance the longer it's been on the market. I will reach out to deals that have been on the market 30 days or more. But the ones that are on there for 30 days, I mean, right now, I think it's more like a 60-day market.
Yeah, definitely.
In the past, it worked really well, those 30 to 60-day mark. But at this point now, we're probably more in that 60.
Thomas,
I think you need to restart Zoom again.
yeah, your mic just went haywire again.
It just happened.
We still can't hear you.
So the underlying theme here, and again, I do agent outreach by nature of what I do with Grid and with the Kaza Group and everything. So I build relationships with agents, but I think the real key to understand with agent outreach is building those meaningful relationships to where an agent, even if you only had 10 agents that you were really close with that brought you a deal or two a year, I mean, that's 20 deals. Like, you just need to, because most agents either aren't interested, they don't understand wholesaling, whatever, it's a small town, whatever the reason is, or but there's plenty of agents out there. There's lots of new agents. I think new agents are a great place to focus. I mean, of course, looking at stuff on market, but there's lots of ways to get real estate agents information. And, I'd be looking to try and figure out like new agents that are entering the market that are, trying to get a foothold, that are eager and hungry and looking for business, and they're out there knocking on doors and doing whatever. If you can build a relationship with 5, 10, 15, 20 of those people, and each one of them, even if they only brought you a deal a year, that's 20 deals a year right there again. Like, so anyhow, sorry, Thomas, I was just.
You're good. Hopefully this audio is back.
Yep, you're good.
All right. All right. Perfect. Yeah, Mike, that was actually perfect. And I meant to mention that sometimes the agents that are newer are the easier ones to work with. The newer generation they're more open-minded to thinking outside the box, and they're hungry too. So that helps a lot when they're new and they're really hungry. They will typically hear what you have to say, whether or not it works out or not. They're more inclined to listen to you because they are so hungry. I don't have much success with the older generation of real estate agents. They're stuck in their way. What they've been doing for the last 20 or 30 years works very well for them. And they're not interested in switching up how they do their business, which is fine. And I support that. And, I just end the conversation politely and don't put them on the list. But yeah, the newer generation of real estate agents are typically more of a target for us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, Melinda, I think we should be, in addition to like the list that we've aggregated, like I got a list of tens of thousands of agents all over the country from the sub 2 group that I'm a part of. I think Pace paid something like 10 or 20 grand for these agent lists. And so I've had Melinda calling through them, but I think a great way to supplement that would be through social media. I mean, you see the younger generation on social media, like just go on Facebook or Instagram and look up agents in Richmond or agents in Front Royal and start connecting with some of those younger agents through social media, telling them what you do or what we do.
Yeah.
And start building relationships that way.
You know
And I
what?
think maybe the success rate would be a little bit higher. with some of those conversations.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen some actual agent help desk, like Facebook groups, like for newer agents right there.
Perfect.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Alexander, you have a question?
Yeah, a couple. First of all, what is this grid network? I was there an online resource to find all the buyers or whatnot?
Grid?
I haven't. Yeah.
Are you not familiar with Grid? I'm failing if you're not familiar with Grid.
I only am familiar with what happens on meetup.com and what I see in person.
Okay.
So,
well, that's
yeah,
my fault then, because Grid is started as a local meetup group, which my partner and Cherie's partner, Rob, has now been building and expanding across the country with Grid chapters throughout the country. And it's an investor network. So there's local meetups where, we meet monthly and talk about real estate topics, just like we do here. But it's in person.
Okay, so that part I understood, but like posting a deal to a Grid network.
So yeah,
how would
so
you do that?
there's
That's what I really meant.
Grid Facebook page
Okay.
where a lot of people post deals, they post, questions, they post, there's what, 5 or 10,000 people in it right now. I think they're trying to grow it to 100,000 is the big goal. But yeah, we post our deals in there. There's people in there looking for opportunities. There's people in there looking for, contractors, everybody, like anything, any resources that you might need. So I would encourage you. I think it's
I'll get on the Facebook page.
join the Grid Investor Facebook page. Join your local Grid chapter. I guess that would probably be Reston for you, would be the closest one, which is the home base of Grid. Encourage you to, they just had a meeting last week. I think it was last week.
And by the way, I'm looking forward to going tomorrow. I'm going to actually take the hike up to Front Royal.
Oh, sweet.
It's about an hour 40 for me. So
yeah.
Hope it's appreciated. All right. And so more a better question for Thomas now. And all right. So you call an agent, it's 30 days late. Well, what's keeping this from selling? What kind of answers do you usually get? And then how do you respond to them? More important part.
So when I initially start talking to an agent, I make it as much about the property as possible. So at that point, it's just gathering information, just the same as if you were to talk to a seller by cold calling. For me, I'm looking at the property. I've already probably looked at the property and saw maybe why I think it's not selling. So at that point, it's just general conversation about the property, how, the length of time it's been on market, some of the condition. At that point, I'm trying to get as much as the agent is willing to give me. That way I've done my homework and I know exactly how I can come in and help if there's, if it's necessary for me to be a part of that deal. And then once I've gathered all that information, then I'm just talking to the real estate agent about who I am and what I do and why I'm reaching out to them to begin with. I mean, obviously I'm interested in the property, and as far as they know, I'm a cash buyer. And that's why we use different strategies like double closes and stuff like that, because sometimes agents are okay with me being a wholesaler, but their brokerage isn't. And in that case, then I have a private money lender who will do transactional lending, and I can just go double close on a property. That way the agent still gets paid. The brokerage is happy because I gave them the warm and fuzzy, and seller sold their property and I made a buyer happy as well.
See, I'm looking for stuff like that. You just gave a roadmap, sort of a script. So, or a little tiny piece of the script. If the agent's brokerage is not okay with selling, then you double close as a next resort. So What else? Um, one answer that kind of comes to mind, I was trying to get examples of that. Okay, what's keeping the house from selling? They just won't go down on the price. So like, how do you solve that one?
So in that case, if it's a price issue, I'm always looking for different exit strategies. So at that point, I've already probably lightly analyzed the property to see if there's any opportunity there for seller finance or any other creative finance situations where I can come in and say, hey, I have a buyer. If they want their price, at that point they have to give me a little more time, and then I can introduce the idea of a seller finance situation, or if the numbers will pencil out on paper, then we can do a sub two. There's many different strategies. At that point, it just becomes a creative deal. And if they're willing to work with me, and I always tell people you can have your price, but you're not going to get speed. You're not going to get convenience. So if that's price is what you need, then this is what I can do for you, but it's going to take longer to get your money. So we talk about novation, sub two, seller finance, any of those options that would work for that specific deal, I bring up in conversation.
On the first conversation? Okay. And then what other things could keep the house from selling?
I mean, sometimes there's just unforeseen things. So a lot of these properties are as is properties. So for any of those properties, we're going to do some sort of a little inspection period, or a just time for me to just get a showing and get an investor in there or a financial partner. And they're going to know very quickly if this is a deal they're still interested or not. And if they're not, then we don't have a deal.
It's a numbers game, just like
Yep.
anything else.
I get more no's with agents, just like you do with sellers, than I do wins.
Just got to have the conversations.
Right.
All right, Chris, what you got, man? We got a few other questions. Chris, Mona, Jay, we'll go right in a row.
All right, I'm unmuted. All right, so ever since I started wholesaling, the more difficult side of wholesaling for me has been getting these deals sold. Okay, it's not so much of making the deals or finding the deals or getting them on paper, but it's getting them actually sold and turn them into money, because that's what counts. I guess my question is, like you made a comment on, you guys target the younger or newer agents first. They're a little easier to work with. They're less hesitant to work with you, a wholesaler. My thing is, have you guys actually use the agents to get deals sold? And if so, have you approached like more seasoned agents, more matured agents that may have more possibilities of opportunity for you in the long run, to build a relationship with those guys first versus the younger crowd? Because some of the older agents might not be as easy to work with, but when they feel like you're giving them something versus asking for something, maybe it's opportunity for them. It's a win-win, no-brainer for them to make money. And then you can open that door that way as well. Like I said, my hardest thing is getting deals sold, and I want to find out ways to learn more ways to get deals sold. That's been the big thing for me.
So I think, and as a matter of fact, we were just talking about this the other day. We have not used an agent to sell a deal. I've always just had a buyer, or been able to find a buyer in the networks that I already have built. But that's a great strategy. And I think you absolutely could sell a deal that way. If you're finding deals very easily, I think you could go to an agent and talk to them. For me, I would probably go to an agent that I have a relationship with, explain to them that situation. I don't know if I'd want to cold call a brand new agent or something like that, or even a seasoned agent. Although it may work out for you. I think at that point, you just need to make sure you have all your ducks in a row. And that way, when you present it to them, they can either help you or they can't. But you're absolutely right. I think some of the seasoned agents are the ones that are going to have quick buyers in their back pocket, or know somebody who's looking for something that they can point you in the right direction. So I think that's absolutely a great strategy as well.
Yeah, I love that. Give me 1 second here. I got a few thoughts. Number one, I think it's a great point, and Melinda, I'm gonna chime in on you again because I think a great number one, I dispo a ton of deals through agents. I send all my deals to agents, as a matter of fact. I mean, I have a buyer's list too, but there's lots of agents on there, and I don't mind working with an agent. I'll just say, have your buyer pay your commission. That's usually how I deal with with agents. Now, maybe if it's a deal killer, I'll offer to split it, or sometimes if it's somebody I'm close with that I do a lot of deals with, like Amanda, for example, who's my Grid Shenandoah co-host. For those of you that don't know her, I'll pay her a commission or some kind of fee for bringing me a buyer. But oftentimes, if I'm marketing or dispoing to agents, I'll just say, and it's in my I have like a offer submission thing that buyer pays any agent commission, so you don't have to worry about that. Or buyers to negotiate their own agent commission, something like that. But I think a great way to kind of kill two birds with one stone would be, Melinda, for example, I'm talking to you here, would be to take the Warrenton deal. I've got a list of agents in Warrenton. We should be calling agents in Warrenton and saying, hey, I've got this off-market deal that I'm looking to move. Do you have any buyers that are looking for something, in Warrenton? And then, no, well, do you have any opportunities? Do you have any other opportunities off market?
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that
Cold
would be it.
calling?
Yeah, just cold call agents in Warrenton, or really anywhere in Northern Virginia. Frankly, it could work, but with just that simple script, hey, I have this deal in Warrenton, it's off market, looking for a cash buyer. Do you have any investors or cash buyer or strong buyers looking for a, knockdown or rehab property in Warrenton? Yes, great. No. Well, do you have any other properties you maybe, that about that need work or something? Some simple script around that. It's a good way to kind of kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, and on top of that, we can pay their commission, right? Correct?
We pay their commission if they bring us a deal, definitely.
Oh,
The
I see what you
buyer
mean.
would pay the commission
Uh-huh.
if they're buying, the Warrenton deal, for example.
Correct.
But yeah, Chris, great question. I'll work with agents all day. I mean, they've got a lot of buyers too. Like, I've got my own cash buyers, but I send probably a couple thousand emails to agents just along with my normal investor cash buyers, with the hopes that an agent brings me a buyer, and I'll just say, your buyer has to pay your commission, but let's do a deal. I mean, it's a great way to connect with agents. Cool. Mona, you got a question? Sorry, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I just, figure out a way to open up that door, because that agent, once you give them something, maybe they can return something in tenfold to you.
Oh, yeah.
Something that doesn't fit for them, they can, give it to you. And then you actually have buyers on the other side that would be more appropriate for that.
Yep.
So it's all about, building that relationship and opening the door, I guess.
Yep.
Thank you, Thomas.
Good question. Your mic's getting a little squirrely again, Thomas.
Okay, so could I ask my question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Mike, when you email the agents, you have a contract with a property and you mail the agents, do you have a cash buyer for this? What kind of contract do you do with, is that a novation or?
If I have a property under contract and I'm marketing it to anybody, whether they're an agent or not, the contract that they'll receive will be an assignment contract.
So you just
Go ahead.
You would just assign the contract.
Yeah, I would just assign it. I have the way that I wholesale is if I put a property under contract and I go to market it, I create my marketing, whatever, emails and stuff. And then all of my stuff, and Melinda, again, I keep getting all these good ideas from Melinda while we're on this training. We should be sending out a link along with anything we're sending out. I have a link to like basically a job form to submit offers. So, buyer information, offer, EMD, it just goes into a job form and like compiles all offers into a spreadsheet for me, and I can review them all at one time and then pick the best offer, or tell the top couple offers, like do some negotiating. But ultimately, whoever has the best offer, I'll put together the assignment contract, which is separate from the purchase agreement, put together the assignment contract and send it to their agent. If it's an agent, send it to them to review with their buyer or whatever. I'll already have filled it out and signed it, so all I have to do is review it and sign it with their agent. But I don't use any, there's no, that I know of, there's no like INVAR assignment contracts out there. So I'm happy to share with anybody. I think my assignment contract, I believe, is in the documents section, the documents library for the training. If you guys haven't looked at it, I believe it's in there. I'm gonna have to double check, but it's just a simple, I think it's like 2 pages, seller buyer information, and then if they want to review the original purchase contract, I'll send them the original purchase contract to take a look at that has all the terms in it.
Okay, that sounds great. And then one more question for Thomas Bellomy. Bellomy?
Bellomy.
Yeah. Okay. Or actually anybody who wants to answer this question also. You had said, I heard you say that you often go see the property before talking to the agent, but at the beginning of your presentation, you had said, I'm doing deals in Richmond and I never set foot in Richmond. And I was wondering if you could say more about doing deals in Richmond and never setting foot in Richmond.
So what I have done is I have built.
Thomas, I gotta stop you, man. Your speakers. That's
Right.
again.
Hang on a second. I'm just gonna get rid of the AirPods.
I think he's probably talking about the listing, just looking at the listing photos that are available. If there
Can you
are
guys hear
any.
me now better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. So to answer your question, what I've done is I went to groups in Richmond, so networking groups like Grid, other groups in the area, just cash buyer groups, and I just put out a simple post looking for someone who either wants to just take pictures, photographer who can just take pictures and view properties, or other wholesalers that in the area that are willing to go look at a property and take pictures, and then I offer to pay them a small fee to go take pictures. And through that networking, I was able to find essentially I use one guy now, and he's a real estate agent as well, and he's usually out on the road. So if I call him right now, he could probably get there before dark and take the pictures for me so I can see the property. And then I just pay him once he delivers the pictures, he gets paid. And then even sometimes I'll JV with him because he has a network of buyers, and he also is an investor himself. So just through networking, I was able to find somebody. So I've never, in the 2+ years I've been in Richmond wholesaling, I've never had to go there for a deal.
Okay. So, but you do work with someone who visits the property.
Correct.
Takes the pictures. Yeah. I mean, you could even FaceTime the person, right? Or Zoom.
I've done that too. And sometimes if I can eliminate having to pay someone to take pictures and the seller is in the area and willing to go do a video walkthrough, I've even done that with the seller. You know, if it's an agent, they're probably not going to do it for me. They'll probably just go take pictures and send it to me. But, you know, like I said, I do have an agent that I work with more frequently out in Richmond, and he's more than happy to go out and get me any information I need, because he knows he's making a deal too, and he's going to get paid on it. So he's willing to help out.
Perfect. Perfect. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Great.
Also, a little bit of that too. I hear a lot of guys saying that they will have contractors go and do estimates on the repairs needed, and not even be in the area, but can get like 3 different estimates on the repairs needed, so they'll know ARV afterwards as well, and not even be in the area. So.
Yep. That's excellent. Thank you. Yeah, that sounds great.
Alex, what's up?
Thomas, is your business model specifically focused on all doing deals with agents now, or are you still doing traditional wholesaling?
So in the beginning, I was doing cold calling, and I still am cold calling. I do more deals off market, off the MLS than I do with agents. But agent outreach went so well for me. And again, it started for us because we wanted to open up a new marketing channel, but we didn't really have the income coming in to support it. So we were just sitting around at the table one day, and we're just kind of like, okay, what could we do? And, you know, of course, we know, you know, the big wholesalers, Brent Daniels and Jamil Damji, all those guys on YouTube. We kind of took Jamil Damji's model, not without taking his, you know, course or anything, but what we knew of it. And we were like, how can we implement this in our business? So these deals, when we get them from agents, they're kind of free leads, because it's out on the MLS anyways. Anybody can view them. But no, to answer your question, it's not my main source of business. It's just another channel for us. So on those slow months when I'm not really getting a lot, or I get lazy and I'm not calling enough to direct a seller, agent outreach can be that thing that kind of provides a buffer, and keeps us, you know, generating income like we should be.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Can I just ask one more question?
Please.
I
Sure.
could. Okay, you guys are often talking about calling direct to seller and calling the lists and things like that. Where are you getting the lists? What are the lists of which you speak?
I pay for my lists third party.
Okay.
Alex pays for
I
his
still
list.
source my.
Go ahead, Thomas.
I still source my list. I use batch leads. So I will go build lists on my own with my own filters. I've been in Richmond long enough to know kind of what those lists should look like for me. So I build them myself, skip trace them, and then I call them myself as well.
Did you say batch leads? Is that what you said?
Batch leads. Yep.
Batch leads. Yep. PropStream is another great resource for lists and skip tracing.
I use batch leads as well for most of my data.
Okay, so I just have to ask you, what is batch leads?
It's a software website that you can look up seller data information based on lots of different factors: equity, absentee owner, pre-foreclosure. You can filter all sorts of property data, and then you can build lists of the data, and then you can skip trace the data and get phone numbers and information to start making your calls. So it's just a website. I think it's batchleads.com.
And
Hey, Mike and Thomas, I don't know if I ever asked you this, but what are you guys paying to build your lists on batch leads?
It's a monthly.
So yeah, go ahead.
I think it's like $100 a month, and then you get like 10,000 records. And then skip tracing is like 10 cents a
9.
record or something, 12 cents maybe. I forget what it is.
I think it's 9 right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's been going down actually. It's been getting cheaper.
And I know right now, I just had recommended it to another person recently, and right now they're offering 249 free skips a month.
Yep.
That start, if you don't use them, you lose them. But if you're on there and you're using it actively, you get 249 free skips every single month. So it kind of helps mitigate that cost a little bit.
So if you guys are doing, just to make sure I'm understanding it right, if you're doing 10,000 skips per month at 9 cents, then it would be reasonable to say that you guys are paying about $900 for the 10,000 leads.
Yeah, if you're doing 10,000 a month, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I was gonna see if I had a promo code or something. Here you go. Use this if you need to want to get your batch leads account. Save me 25 bucks.
There we go.
I don't know if you get anything for it, but this is what batch leads looks like if you're curious. I don't know, Mona, can you see my screen or are you just on your phone?
No, I can see. It's a little bit small. I'm on my laptop, but it's.
Oh, here, hold on a second. Let me do something.
So my understanding of batch leads, I haven't been there, I haven't used it. However, other people take their existing leads, like say they download from Zillow, and then they'll feed them in, and then
yeah,
batch leads will tell you which who to call in which order to make sure that you're not overcalling or ignoring anyone.
Yeah, there's also a dialer function, which I don't use. I mainly use it for skip tracing, honestly, myself. Oh, there's an agent outreach. That's new. Search a location.
Yeah, I haven't used that. I do my own, so I haven't used theirs.
And you said, Mike, this is about $100 a month?
I'll tell you. Yeah, I think the like lowest rung is like $99 a month. At least it used to be. And then if you skip trace, it's like another.
It is.
Yeah. This is interesting. Again, Melinda, there's an agent outreach function right here on batch leads.
Are those all numbers that you already have?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. These are all I did was.
Oh, wow. That's all free.
Yeah, all I did was go into this agent outreach part and typed in Warrenton, and it just populated 340 agents.
Can you click on that filters tab?
I wonder why there's.
Sold listing, active listing, office.
Are those just agents who actively have listings right now?
I mean,
surely there's more than that. There shouldn't be.
I don't think so. I mean,
no, I doubt.
Yeah, there's only 48.
I would think there's
only 48 of them have active listings. Yeah, I would think there would be a lot more too, but But still, I mean, it's 350 agents. That was in Warrenton. I mean, only 152 listed in Front Royal, but I wonder where they pull their
Yeah.
data from.
Same thought.
Interesting, something to look at.
I could probably look it up where they pull that data from.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking in Front Royal. I don't. Yeah, I recognize some of these names. Interesting. All right, cool. Anybody have any other thoughts or questions for Thomas or general?
Yeah, I have a quick question for Thomas.
Yeah.
I'll make
Oh,
it quick.
sorry,
I know
Chris.
we're
I
a
didn't see
little
you
over
had your
5.
hand up.
No, that's cool. Hey Thomas, I understand you are been focusing in the Richmond area a lot. I recently did a deal in Ruther Glen and built a relationship with a tired landlord that's 82 years old and owns property all over Richmond. Excuse me. I'm getting in good with her, and my question is, would you be interested in maybe if you have a good buyers list for that area, maybe JVing on a couple deals?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like my big thing is getting them sold, and there is several of them, and if I could just assign them all, turn them into money, I'll be happy without never having to look at them again.
Yeah. So I can. Sorry, I'm a little technologically. Let me pull up the chat real quick, and I'll just throw my phone number in there. And if you want to text me outside of here,
yes,
we can
absolutely
go through that and figure it out.
Absolutely, my man. So, all right. Well, yeah, that was just about it. I'll just like to, if you have a buyer's list in Richmond, we could definitely get together on a few and get them going.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Cool. Any other thoughts for today? Chris, I can connect you too. If Thomas put his number in the chat there, I don't know if you saw it. Can you see the chat?
Yeah, if not, Mike, just give him my information.
I'll connect you guys.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thomas, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, for sure, man. If anybody wants to connect with Thomas, I'll put his info in the follow-up email tomorrow, actually, that'll go out in the morning. If you guys want to connect with him.
Yep, email, call, text, whatever.
Yeah.
Also,
Cool.
if anyone ever needs boots on the ground in Fredericksburg or around here at all, I'm happy to go. I think I forget her name. Minda or
Melinda?
Someone was Mona. Mona was
Mona.
asking a question about having someone check properties out in Richmond. If anybody ever needs boots on the ground in Fredericksburg or surrounding areas around here, I'm always in the car. I'm always driving around. So you guys just let me know, and I'll be happy to swing over.
Awesome, man. Thank you for that offer. I'm definitely going to take you up on that at some point.
Perfect.
All right, everybody. I got to jump. I appreciate you all being here. Hopefully we got some good value today. And we'll pick it up next week.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Thomas.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Thomas.
Thank
you all.
Guys.
Balloons.
Peace.